Hello and welcome to my channel. So I'm going to model for my math students and anyone taking geometry, Glencoe McGraw-Hill geometry book on page 31, number 11, which is correlated to example 5. Using the midpoint formula, you are given a midpoint and an endpoint, and you are solving for the other endpoint. So I'm gonna do that for my class. Hope you enjoy. Leave in the comments any questions you might have or other videos you'd like me to leave. If it's the same textbook, just tell me the page and number, or you can write out another question and I can do a tutorial for that. Hope you enjoy it.
Hope it's useful.
Question we're looking at here is, find the coordinates of G if F is 1, 3.5 is the midpoint of GJ and J has coordinates 6, -2. So I'm going to put on some graph paper. I know some people will definitely benefit from having it graphed out. So I'm going to find the coordinates of G if F is 1, 3.5. 1, 3.5.
That's my F.
And it says and that's the midpoint of GJ, and J has coordinates 6, -2. So 6, 4, 5, 6, -2.
This is J.
So GJ is, let's see. So real quick, because it's so easy, rather than even using the midpoint formula, let's just use paper so that we'll have an answer to compare to after. So we can figure out how far away this is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5. So I can do the same thing. Or I could just double it. So I could go 5 and then go 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we know it's gonna be up there. And then 5.5. So 1/2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if we take a look at this, I have a ruler. Looks like a straight line to me. I'm using one hand, that's why it came out a little funky. All right, so there's my point up there. Let's see if we can solve it first before we figure out what that point is. So you can pause the video and figure that out for yourself, but I'm not gonna tell you that right now. I wanna solve for it first. So, this right here is my y-axis, that's what that is. All right, so this is point G, and we know what the midpoint formula is. So the midpoint formula is x1, x2, it doesn't matter what order, over 2, and y2 plus y1 over 2 equals, and I'm gonna say m for midpoint is, we could say xm ym. We could say that this equals that. So I'm gonna separate it out into 2. Now, first off, I want to say this. For those that don't like equations and you want simplicity, I would just say this. This point is the average of these two. So if you take the average of the x coordinates, you'll get this x coordinate. If you get the average of the y coordinates, you'll end up with the y coordinate. So right now, we're given the average. We have one of the two items that we're averaging. We're trying to figure out the other one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, because this is sort of in a coordinate form, x and y, x and y. I'm going to split those into 2. So I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to say xm, so this is going to be 1, is equal to, and I'm going to point up here, is equal to x2 plus x1 over 2. Or we're going to say, you could even, one other thing you could do to help you not get confused is say like xj and xg. So I'm gonna say that xj is gonna be 2, so we're gonna say this is x2, y2, and up here this is gonna be x1, y1. x2 is 6, plus, we're not sure yet what x1 is, over 2, and we're going to bring this down here. So we're going to say that ym, the midpoint, is equal to y2 plus y1 over 2. Now let's look at Do we know either of these two values? Y1? Nope. Y2? Yup. And Ym? Yes, we know that. So 3.5 equals Y2 is -2 plus Y1, which we don't know yet, over 2. Now, all we have to do, because we now have a, let's see, two-step equation for each of these, solve it out with algebra. So in both of these cases, we can multiply times 2. So I'm going to do that. Multiply times 2, multiply times 2, multiply times 2, multiply times 2. 2 equals, these are going to cancel, x plus x1. And over here, 3.5 times 2 is 7, equals -2 plus y1. Now on this side, we're going to add 2 to both sides. Here we're going to subtract 6 from both sides. We end up with -4 equals x1, and we're going to get to 9 equals y1. So let's check. If we look at our origin, are we going to go, let's see, this, so this right here, that means that we're going left, and since that's positive, this is going up. So do we go left 4 and up 9? Let's find out. Left 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Up 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's a win. So our coordinates are now, what are they again? -4, +9. -4, +9. So this is your number 11 from page 31 in the distance and midpoint section. And it's represented from example number 5. So last thing I'll say here is that when you're doing these types of problems, you do not always have to use equations if you understand kind of what's going on. So for example, if I understand that it's the average of these 2 points, I can do a lot of it in my head. 1 and 2, you saw at the beginning, I didn't even use the equation, I drew it. So one of the beautiful things about geometry, especially when it comes to coordinates, when it comes to drawing things, is when you have that added visual content, sometimes it's way easier to notice some patterns in a problem. So my recommendation for really anyone is that you can absolutely, in geometry, make a figure for things, and when you have that figure, look to see if there's any shortcuts you can take to solve something. So in that case, we drew the line up and we saw what it was going to be before we figured out algebraically. You could do the same thing if you were finding the midpoint. If you took 2 points, drew a line, and then you counted how many total, like, so in this case. So again, if we take a look here at these 2 points, if I were to see that this one went all the way down, so +9 down 2, so it's, you could say that this whole thing is
a triangle.
You could say that it's 11 units tall, right? And over here, we can see that it is, let's see, -4 that way, +6 that way. It's 10 wide. So we could figure out that it's going to go halfway down here. So 11 divided by 2 is 5.5. So if I go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5, and then I go 5 to the right, because it'll be half of that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that'll give me my answer. And really, same thing with the distance formula. If you can take 2 points and you're trying to come up with the distance of this, if you can turn this into a right triangle, you know, by using your grid lines here, so like using these blue lines, I can draw a straight line down, straight line across. It'll come out to a 90-degree angle, and I know that 11. So if I'm trying to come up with the length of GJ, then I know it's going to be 11 squared plus 10 squared equals GJ squared. So that's going to be 100 plus 121. 221 square root equals GJ. I'm not sure if that simplifies to anything, but like I figured that out super quick just because I drew these. right? So especially if you want to use graph paper, ask for it. Bring it to school. It's very useful. So for those of you learning, I hope that was useful. I hope you're able to use it. I hope you end up coming back to it. Please, in the comments, if you have other videos that you want to make or that you've found that were really useful, put them in. I'll throw them up in the description. I'm gonna look for, once I upload this, I'm gonna look for a couple other videos that we might be able to use. If you don't like my voice or something. Right now, I'm at King Philip, and you can absolutely feel free to send this to other teachers. Also, other teachers, if you're watching this, and especially if it's the same class that I'm teaching, I do 3 sections of Geometry CP, Geometry Honors, and Algebra 2. I have no problem putting out tutorials, as that makes my class run better, and it saves me planning time sometimes, as I can just show it. So if you want me to make more things, let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching. Hope you liked it. If you want more, subscribe. On this channel I do all kinds of things. And the other channel I talk about, it's the Think Share. I talk about what I've been thinking about, what I've been talking about, reading about, listening to, that I don't have time for in math class. So if you're interested in my thoughts on those things, feel free to subscribe to right up here, the Think Share, and all kinds of random stuff up here for this channel. Could be challenges with other students, could be challenges with teachers. A lot of people find having a student shave my head was pretty popular. If you want more math tutorials, you can find them here. Thank you for watching. Stay weird.